Crop now is coffee. And if you look to your left side, way out at the shoreline, you'll see some darker green fields out that way. That's the Kauai Coffee Company. It is the largest coffee plantation in the United States with more than 4 million trees. They do a great free tasting and walking tour. But we'll be staying up here in the hills, Mauka, as they say in Hawaii. Got our first waterfalls of the day coming up in the valley ahead for you.
Can't you see that it's just raining?
This is Alexander Reservoir we're about to pass over. On the Pepe Valley beyond it is where we're heading.
But baby, you hardly even notice when I try to show you. Song is meant to keep you doing.
Now there are several waterfalls in this valley, so be sure to have a look around as we cruise through, but one will stand out among the rest. She stands 360 feet tall, goes by the name Manawaiopuna, but you might be more familiar with her nickname. We're about to go have a look at Jurassic Falls. There she is in the shadows ahead at your 1 o'clock. That's where they landed the helicopter in Jurassic Park. Kayla, close-ups coming out your window now. Now, because this is all privately owned, there's no way to see any of it except by helicopter. This is literally their backyard we're flying through. They were talking about developing some of it for tourism at one point, but decided against it. In Hawaii, it's a very strongly held value to maintain and preserve the land, the aina. The Robinsons aren't Hawaiian by blood, but they have been here for over 150 years, definitely locals, so that's very important to them as well. The original descendant of the Robinson family to come to Kauai was a Scottish woman by the name of Eliza Sinclair. She lived most of her life in New Zealand, and she sailed here in 1863. A year later, she made the first land purchase for the family. She bought the island of Ni'ihau. That's the one we saw on the horizon earlier. We'll get a better view of it as we cross these mountains and continue west. Ni'ihau sits 17 miles southwest of Kauai. It's the remnants of a second volcano that grew up right next to Waialeale, the one that formed this island. And it's known as the Forbidden Island. You're not allowed to set foot on Ni'ihau unless you were born there or invited by the Robinsons. That was a stipulation of the land deal when Eliza bought it, that it never be developed or made public. And she bought it from the king. This was a long time ago, way before Hawaii would become a state. That'd take another 90 years. At the time, we were under the rule of King Kamehameha V. He charged her $10,000 in gold for Ni'ihau. In today's money, that's only $150,000. Not bad for your own private island. You can't even get a house here for that much. She got 45,000 acres.
Aku me o e I ka hana no
As we climb up over this ridge line, we will start to get another view of the Forbidden Island. It'll be coming into view about your 10 o'clock, way out on the left side on the horizon. There it is again. Coming up on a little canyon ahead of us. This is Olokele Canyon. It is owned by the Robinsons, and they got it for even cheaper than Niihau. This entire canyon was gifted into the family as a wedding present over 100 years ago. You're probably starting to notice a bit of a change in the landscape and the terrain, even the climate. We have 7 climate zones on this one tiny little island, so you will see some dramatic differences. We left on the east side, and the east and north sides are typically the rainy sides. That's why they're so green and lush and gorgeous. South side around Poipu is the sunniest on average, and we're heading out now to the southwest where it's quite arid and desert-like, a lot like the southwest of the continental U.S.
Gonna put the world away for a minute, pretend I don't live in it. Sunshine gonna wash my blues away.
We only get 6 to 10 inches of rain per year on this side of the island, which is pretty neat because the center of the island is one of the rainiest places on Earth, getting more than 450 inches per year. Big difference for a few miles away.
Deep in the water somewhere, got the blue sky breeze and it don't seem fair. Only worry in the world is the tide gonna reach my chair. Sunrise, there's a fire in the sky. Never been so happy, never felt so high. And I think I might have found me my own kind of paradise.
Yeah, we're just leaving Robinson Land now, crossing on over into State Land. What you're looking at ahead of you is known as the Grand Canyon of the Pacific. Welcome to the Waimea Canyon. Now, if you look out at the canyon walls, you'll see horizontal striations in them. What you're seeing are individual layers of lava, separate eruptions of Mount Waialeale. That's how the island was formed, beginning a little over 5 million years ago. This is the oldest of the major Hawaiian islands, so it's had the most time for erosion to sculpt it. This canyon is a great example of that. The Waimea River cut through the canyon, and as it did, it exposed all the layers of lava to the air. Well, lava comes from the center of the earth, so it's very rich with iron. When that iron comes into contact with our humid, salty island air, it's going to oxidize or rust. That's where all the red dirt comes from, just a bunch of rust.
And the dreams that you dream of. Someday you wish upon a star, wake up where the clouds are far behind me, where trouble melts like lemon.
We're right about the deepest part of the canyon here. It's a half-mile deep and 10 miles long, north to south. We're cruising northbound up the riverbed. Got another waterfall hiking up this way for you.